Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt. On today's episode, we are going sort of Hallmarky today. We're talking about a Netflix original movie that is a Christmas love story in the vein of a Hallmark Christmas movie, which is just exactly what I needed. Now, if you don't know this, and I have no clue if there's anybody in the world who doesn't know this, is that Hallmark puts out probably 15,000 Christmas movies a year. And they basically, I think right now, or I guess in November, they were doing sort of a countdown to the 25 days of Christmas, where they were doing like a countdown to their new movies with a whole bunch of new and old movies to watch. And they tend to all be exactly the same, of course. I mean, it's always going to be like a man or a woman who is either just out of a relationship or has a problem being committed in relationships that either goes to a big city or a small town. Usually the big city person goes to the small town where they have to do some kind of odd job for their career, or they have like a family thing and they're going back to their hometown, which is a small town. And, of course, they fall in love with a man or woman. It's usually the man that lives in the small town and the woman who is a career woman that comes to this work, and she's kind of like, you know, like she's all about her career and blah, blah, blah. And she meets a man who usually has, like, a daughter or a son. He's a widow, you know, hasn't been in love since the death happened. They fall in love, and it's all the meaning of Christmas stuff. That is a basic Hallmark movie. It's every single one of them, and you know what? I'll watch all of them, legitimately. And they always rotate between like a couple actors. They have like their core like 5 women that they like to use. Lacey Chabert is a big one at the moment. If you don't know, she played Gretchen in Mean Girls. Candace Cameron Bure is in these quite a bit. Whole bunch of people. Also, they usually use like the same 3 men who are all usually very generic white men who like don't have very discernible features. And you know what? Netflix is trying it out. Netflix is on its game right now. This is the first Netflix original Hallmark-style Christmas love story, and it's called, I haven't even told you what it's called, A Christmas Prince. Now, this stars Rose McIver, who, if you don't know, she's done ton of stuff, but she is currently starring in iZombie, which is kind of a cult hit on the CW. It's on Netflix, so you can watch it. She plays a zombie on it, like a zombie med student. It's very quirky. It's based off a comic. I have not seen it. I've actually heard pretty good things, and I honestly think I probably would like it. And I have always liked Rose McIver. She is she's been in a lot of little things. She did some Disney Channel stuff. She did a lot of stuff, and I've always liked her. And then you've got a whole bunch of random actors that you've never seen in your entire life. The prince in this is the Prince of Aldovia, I think it is, and they just made up a country, I'm pretty sure, unless it is a country and I'm like just dumb, which is quite possible that I might not know this country, and it's just vague British accents. And you do get the sort of like clue in that it is connected to England or the UK or something like that, because the Prime Minister is involved in this. So I'm thinking it's just like a little tiny bit of England or something like, I don't know. It's just a made-up country, I'm assuming. Basically, we have Rose McIver, who is a junior reporter at sort of a gossip magazine, and she's very hardworking, and she somehow gets the opportunity to go to Aldovia and cover the story of the prince taking the throne from his father, who died a year ago, and apparently the throne can only be empty for a year before someone has to take on the role of being the king, and they're thinking the prince might be abdicating, which means that he might choose not to be king because he's all around the world and he's kind of living this like this lifestyle with the chicks and the booze and all that kind of stuff. So he's kind of like, yeah, they're kind of playing up Prince Harry a little bit at the moment, I'm assuming, because Prince Harry got into some crap earlier in his days, and you know what? Love Prince Harry. He's hot for, you know, being a prince, and like that's, who would want to be a princess? Like, oh, just way too much pressure, and like I really do not want to be that proper. I I would fail miserably, back to A Christmas Prince. So she goes to Aldovia, and she somehow, she's a reporter for this, and some stuff happens to where she's trying to sneak into the castle to get some dirt, because this could be her big break, right? And so she decides to somehow go undercover as the tutor to the younger princess of Aldovia, who apparently just likes to run off a whole bunch of her tutors, but like immediately likes this new chick who her name is something. I don't know the names of any of these people. Sorry. And you know what? I thought maybe Netflix would try to kind of elevate this sort of Hallmark style, Lifetime style of Christmas story. But no, they went straight for the cheese factor and the bad acting. And Rose McIver, she's a pretty good actress. I think she's very, very good. But in this, there's nothing. And there's almost zero chemistry between the two leads. This male lead is so generic. First of all, he just like has one of those faces. And nothing against him, because he's good looking, and I'm sure he is actually talented. But in a movie like this, what are you gonna do? Anyway, he's just got no, like I said before, discernible features. And by that I mean you look at him and he just looks like a whole bunch of white men like put together, and you get that like face mold of like what they all look like together. And it's just him. There's like no freckles, there's no moles, it's just like a face. It's just a plain white face. So like I keep forgetting what he looks like, to be quite honest. And also, he just has he's no personality in this. Like, he's just a stoic prince, which I guess is a part of a personality, but there's really like no having fun. Like, I don't know, like spice him up a little bit. Make him like, I don't know, a generic playboy in a way. And the whole thing about this is that he's not actually any of those things that like they write about in the newspapers and the gossip mags. But you know what? Why don't they make him a little bit like that? But back to the main story. These two have zero chemistry, and they fall for each other pretty fast. Like, they almost don't even talk to each other, and they don't know each other at all. And like, she gets to know him more because obviously she's asking him all these questions because she's a reporter posing as a tutor, which is just like, you're going to get yourself into a mess of things. Oh, and then there's this whole like plot in this movie because he's obviously taking the throne for his father, who died a year ago. And obviously this family is still reeling from it. They are very sad, and they haven't really seen the prince in like a year, and they don't even know if he's going to take the crown. They have no clue. So his cousin, who's second in line for the crown, hates him and is just like, oh God, he is just the most stereotypical bad guy, like prince who is just power hungry. Oh, and then there's this ex-girlfriend, right, who back in the day when they were dating sold stories to a gossip magazine, which is just like, you can't come back from that. There's no chance of like winning back your ex-boyfriend after you sold stories about him and you to a gossip magazine. Like, you're gone. You're just out. And she's not redeemable whatsoever. She's just a stone cold biatch. And you know what? That's okay. Whatever. Be you. She just wants to be queen. She doesn't even like any of these people, to be honest. And this entire time, of course, they have like this weird inkling that the lead female character, she goes by the name Martha. That's not her real name. That's the tutor name that she's going by, Martha. That's what we'll call her, because I do not remember her real name in this. I don't remember anybody's real name in this. Basically, they think that she's hiding something, which she totally is, and so they break into her room and like go through all of her stuff, which the biggest twist in all of this, I'm just going to tell you, because let's be real, you're probably not going to watch this. Now, if you are going to watch this, please turn this off. Go watch it, turn it back on. I know maybe there's a couple of my family members that would actually watch this. Okay, now to the biggest spoiler of the whole thing. It turns out the prince is not blood related to any of the royal family members. He was adopted. Honestly, did not see that coming. And that was a nice little twist on this whole thing, but like, you know, whatever. So she kind of like finds all this information, does not tell him, and she's debating, you know, back and forth. She's thinking like, should I like print this story because this is gold, or should I like be a respectful human being, especially to a guy that like I'm starting to fall in love with? And so she doesn't hide any of this stuff very well. So obviously when her room gets broken into, the evil ex-girlfriend and the evil cousin who wants the throne find all of this stuff. And then, of course, it's Christmas Eve, which is the day that you are supposed to take the throne from his father, and he's decided to do it. And this is after he finally kisses Rose McIver's character, Martha, and she's still like, I haven't told you everything, and like they're kind of dating, and it's just, she has a whole makeover to try to make herself look a little bit more princessy because she's going to this like Christmas Eve bash with him, and then the whole thing just comes out. Because you know how, like, when you get married, the priest is always just like, if anybody what do they say? Jeez. They do that thing where, like, if you don't agree with this marriage, please stand up. And nobody should ever stand up in that situation, but in the movies, they do. So they kind of have something very similar where it's just like, if anybody has a reason to disagree with him being king or whatever. And then, of course, the ex-girlfriend goes up and is like, I do. Like, he's adopted. He's not even a bloodline relative. And it's a whole thing. And then they out Martha as being a reporter. And then it's just heartbreak on the Christmas prince's face. Poor guy. And then it all ends with there being a loophole with the king before he died, kind of rewrote the whole thing where technically the adopted prince could become king even if he wasn't blood related, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Martha, Rose McIver's character, the lead female actress, goes back to New York because that's where she lives, and to spend some time with her dad because she, that's embarrassing, that whole thing. She just lied about everything to this guy that she was falling in love with. He hunts her down, they kiss. Apparently she's going to be a queen. They also never seem to like mention royal status in the sense that like he should probably only marry somebody who has a certain royal status, which like I'm totally down for that not being a thing because I think that's stupid. I mean, look what Prince Harry's doing. He's marrying an American chick who's an actress. But I just find it interesting that like they never mention that where like she wouldn't be suitable, which is totally chill on the fact that like the mom is just like, I actually like this girl, like totally date her, do it. She can be queen. Well, why not? Also, if a king is dating somebody, what does that make that somebody? Like, obviously you're not queen because you're not married. But, like, I don't know. Are you just, like, the king's girlfriend? Oh, but I forgot to mention, he actually proposes at the end of this. Like, legit proposes. They barely know each other, and they're getting married. For how stupid these movies are, like, sometimes you just need something stupid, And these are the perfect movies to get you into the holiday spirit where, it's supposed to be about loving people and blah, blah, blah. And, to me, it's just, like, realizing that you're probably never going to get, like, a cool story like that. But if you do, like, that's pretty chill. But back to the actual review of this, I do think that Netflix could have done a lot better. And I do think this is actually a test run for Netflix to where next Christmas, there might be dozens of Christmas love stories. And there's definitely going to be so many. And you know what? I'm down for it. I'll probably watch all of them. So I hope you guys liked that review. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment down below. What are your thoughts on these types of movies? Have you ever watched a Hallmark movie? If so, what is your favorite one? Also, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos Monday through Friday. Usually miss a day. Sometimes I'm late on days because I work 10-hour shifts, but come on, give me a break. Okay, bye.